come to the door and there was a police officer staring at me aggressively. I was like, shit. So the earliest memory I have of being into cars was kindergarten, I'd say. Like I used to write, when they tell you to do sentences, I am a car, over and over. And then I've gone through books at mum's house of like my old writing and stuff, and it's all sentences. The only thing I'd ever write out was I am a car. And then after that it was just straight into pretty much weekends on V8 Supercar days where Dad would be around his mates. It'll be Ford against Holden, and I'd bounce in between. So I'd go to Ford for a couple of minutes just to piss Dad off, and then I'd go back to Holden because it's what I like doing. So my first car was VE SB6 2007. It was white. I picked it up from a dealership in Melbourne, and that is definitely my most favourite car. It was stock as a rock, so it was kind of like the first ever car I got to really get into putting modifications on as a P-plater too. So it'd be the small things like pod filters, a couple of stickers here and there, because I'm mad into stickers. I'd spray the engine cover, make it all nice and white like the outside. I've got the vinyl black top on the roof. Yeah, it's just like the early P-plater mods that you just do. Like it just, so you just got to do it, and it really gets you into. I started rocking up at car meets and things. I moved from Melbourne to Townsville, and that's really where I started doing all the things I could when I started getting a little bit more money and I could actually do things to the car. I had such a connection with that car, and unfortunately one night after Christmas, fell asleep on the couch, and I've woken up at like probably 12 o'clock and wanted to bed. Then it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I hear this smashing on the sliding door out in the main area to where I normally enter the house, and freaking out because it's Townsville, you know what the theft is like there. But now I've come to the door and there was a police officer staring at me aggressively. I was like, shit. I've gone and opened up the door, and they're all standing around. There was, I think, 2 or 3 of them, and he's going off at me saying, "Where you been?" I'm like, "In bed, mate." And he's like, "Where's your car? Where you been? Where's your keys?" I'm like, "What do you mean? It's out the front. It's parked out the front of my house." And he was just like, "Oh, sorry, mate. The car's been stolen." I'm like, "Nah, bullshit. Have a look outside." I dropped to the ground. I was like, "Nah, it's a favourite car." Pretty much, they came in. Because it's an older house, the sliding door, if you wiggle the sliding door enough, like the latch would pop off, like off the lock. So they've come in, and I slept with my keys in my pocket. I just had them in my pocket, and they've gone through the entire house. They've taken all the kitchen knives, drank all my grog. They took my mobile phone and my Elvis Presley CD that was underneath it, which was weird. And they also, while I was asleep, unconscious, they put their hand in my pocket and taken my keys out, took the car. The car was loud, it had like exhaust system and stuff on it, and I still didn't wake up to it. But yeah, they drove that around in first gear because they didn't know how to drive manual for 2 days until the engine seized at a BP or something like that. And yeah, the video, they never caught them, but the video showed them quite young children. Cops said it was between like 10 and 16, the age. I'm like, pfft. And then after that, break-ins just kept happening. So after the car got written off because the engine's gone, I got a 78 Crusader, and that nearly got flogged as well. They came through my bedroom window, and then heaps after that, they just kept breaking in after, probably 3 times a month. They just nasty. It was after the SB6 was written off, went to a 78 Crusader, and then that broke down, and I bought a 1980 Chrysler Valiant. It's a beautiful car. Had matte and white paint job, all the pinstripe and stuff. I had it for 2 weeks. I was driving home from work on a Monday, and I had Hungry Jacks, and then it has no cup holders in the Chrysler, so you got to hold the cup of Coke in the middle of your legs while you're driving. I've come to like the light just before my house, and I heard the revs on the car. It was automatic. The revs on the car were high, and I felt the car kind of grabbing, and I had no idea what was going on. I kicked the throttle a bit, and it popped back up, so it was holding down. And then I'm coming around to one of the last roundabouts towards my house. I put my foot down to come out of because I had to stop the roundabout. I put my foot all the way down. Big heavy car, it was a straight six, so it took a little bit to get it going. And the pedal just wouldn't come up, like it just stayed down, and it kept going faster and faster. Coming around the last corner towards my house, and I'm trying all these things. I went to down to lift up the pedal, and the pedal snapped and just started flopping there. It had nothing going for it. Then I tried to put brakes on, and for some reason the fluid burst, and I had no brakes. I thought if I pulled the handbrake, I'd have no control over the car, so I decided that was silly. So I didn't touch that. I tried to put it in neutral, but the gear wouldn't go in, and then I didn't even think to turn the key off. Like, that would have been the smartest option, but you know, it all happened so fast. I come sideways around the corner trying to keep it together, and there's my house. I've got a big tree outside, and I was just like, alright, I'm going to send it through the tree because I don't want to put it in someone else's car or someone else's house. I've hit the gutter before hitting the tree, and it's rotated the car, and it's gone straight through my kitchen. Yeah, it hit a cyclone beam and warped the whole top of the roof up. All up, about $4,000 to the car, built like a tank, and 89 grand to the house. My mate, just before I went through the kitchen, grabbed the beer out of the fridge, and then he's walked back outside. It was like seconds before I've gone through it, so he would have had a few more bottles in his face than he'd probably like at the time, but yeah, pretty nasty. What interests me in drag racing, I was part of a car club, Jam Enthusiasts in North Queensland, and every year they go to Northern Nats up at Springmount Raceway. That was my first ever car event, large car racing event I've been to, other than all the derbies and stuff like that. I think as soon as I got there and I heard all the massive V8s revving and the smell of fuel burning, I think that kind of hooked me even before I even saw a car going to the track. Then I saw mates versus mates and things like that, and everyone kind of coming together. It was easy for someone who wants to race to kind of slip in without starting off and go-karting, wait for sponsors and doing all that stuff to get in the big stuff. This is something you can take your mum's Kia and put it on the track and have a go with your mates, and I thought that was awesome. So that's what really kicked it off for me. When I first ever lined up, so I was in all the line of the cars before we go in, and I was freaking out, so I was like shaking. It was high adrenaline. And then like I got to the start line and I just went full chill, like it's like I was meant to be there kind of thing. I just relaxed massively, and I was even going down the quarter, it felt like forever. Like, it was awesome. Won my first race too. That was fun, but you know, like that, yeah, really got me into it. Yeah, that was in that car. I didn't race anything before then, so I got this after the Valiant crashed. So currently what I race with is my VE SSV. It's 2008 model. It was more of like just getting around show car kind of thing, just car meets and stuff like that. And then because I love the V8 supercars, I've slapped a big line sticker on the side of the car. And what happened was I was in on the social media, like Holden pages and stuff like that. I got smashed for it, as it is on social media these days. And I just, instead of taking it off and having a sook about it, I went, stuff you, I'm going to keep putting stickers on the car. And then I found out that I can make it look like a race car. So yeah, I've pretty much designed everything else kind of race car feel. The idea of the car was to have an on-road race car, because you just don't see like something like that driving around. Kids love it. So we've gone the Koya SF01 staggered wheels, got a Crow camshaft, OTR growler, Holly rock covers, all the work done on the inside. Got a Rhino exhaust, full system. Yeah, shifter on its way, yeah. Yeah, so it was, it's all tuned at AutoWorks. We've got about 412 horsepower or something at the moment. Goes 13.4 on the track. I like to blame that on me being scared to do the burnout at the start, because I've got to still drive it around every day because it is my daily as well. So I'll try not to break it where I can, and also until I get the new shifter, I think that it's a bit of a issue getting the gears in. I've got the Blue Steel Power Talker Type R. There's stage 4 clutch, so it's button press. Yeah, it's either on or off, but it's so worth it. You don't want that slip while you're halfway down the track like I was getting with the stock one. Yeah, race mods for a standard sprint car as well. But that's all. I've got kids waving. They love it. They think it's fantastic, and I love it too. It makes me feel like I'm driving a race car every day. Like, that's pretty much what everyone dreamed to have. So yeah, ecstatic with it. So currently I'm sponsored by Blue Steel clutch, Rhino exhaust, AutoWorks, Bremix brakes, Big Hip teamwear, and Mentality Plus. So how I went about getting the sponsorship, pretty much after I was told about the line getting the hate, I was just like, let's put stickers on it. And then I worked out I'm just going to get little tiny stickers and put it everywhere. That wasn't good for me. I needed to go bigger. So it was when I first got a Rhino exhaust kit off their website, and I thought it sounded good. Maybe I could actually talk to them about putting a logo on the car and maybe move on to something else. So what I did was I got in contact with them on Facebook, and I said, I really like your product. I would like to run your logo on my car. I'll be at car shows and things like that. Would that be okay? Like, obviously, and just free advertising at the time. Because you can't just expect that you're going to talk to someone about putting their logo on the car and say, all right, where's my free shit? Yeah, that's not how it works. You need to show what you can do, and then the more you get, the more it builds up a resume. So after Rhino exhaust, I reached out to Mentality Plus, and they helped me out with all my uniform and stuff like that. Then that rolled on to Blue Steel. I moved from Townsville down to Brisbane, and yeah, I messaged Blue Steel because at the time I did need a clutch, but I still had that resume there, doing the hard work, doing all the sponsor advertisement for free. And then I've told Blue Steel what I'm going to be doing with the racing and things like that, and they were really interested, and we had a full phone chat and everything, contract sorted, and it was awesome. Yeah, that's when it really starts to come together. You get the parts coming in, and I'll forever have them on board with the car. They're just so good to me, and I really enjoy it. They've come down, they've flown up from Victoria to come jump in the car and have a race with me, things like that. It really gets involved. If you're doing it right, you got to talk to them. You let them know what you're doing. Don't just get your things and then fob them off. And it's a lot of loyalty involved. Like, you can't just rip a sticker off after you get your free part and go, because at the end of the day, it's not a free part. You're going to work for it, just the same as working a job for money. It's the same thing. But then I needed to do a film for Blue Steel of the clutch going in for advertisement, and I've called up AutoWorks, and I've said I need to do this, will you let me film in your workshop? And then he started talking to me about him sponsoring me, and I didn't catch on at first, so I was really confused. But yeah, no, after I was talking about the sponsorship with other things, Darren Autoworks offered to also apply his name through the video and stickers on the car and things like that, just to get out there. And I was all for it. More stickers the merrier. I was like, hell yeah. So that all went forward. Autoworks been excellent to me with mechanical repair and installations. They did all the camshafts and everything. Did great work with it. Then through Blue Steel has connections with Bremix Brakes, so I managed to get Bremix Brakes on board. It kind of just flows through. Like I can still try and get other sponsors if I want to fill more space up or change the look of the car, do something new. You're not always gonna get people even replying to you. You might get like just a nice message just to say, look, this is not really what we're looking for, or we've already got a sponsored car, and that's okay. Probably 10% out of the 100% that you do is going to be just non-existent. But that's what it is. Like someone's going to be pretty much paying for your advertisement, and that's where you got to really consider. Because you're working for them, they're not working for you. So my goals in drag racing and what is happening next with the car and TexRacing itself. With the coronavirus, it's kind of, has kind of ruined kind of the first half of the year with the motorsport side of things. So I missed out in power play. They'll be starting up soon anyway, so I'm keen to still go to that once all the restrictions lift. Tests and tunes are given, I'm always going to go to those. I missed out on Winter Nats, but I'm sure there's so many more events I can go to with that. The car is going to get a bit of engine work done. I'm going to go a bit of a high-rise manifold, make it a bit more show car. Drop the wing, I'm going to put a little bobtail on. The reverse cowl on, I love a reverse cowl, so I'm going to bolt that on nicely on top. Yeah, 2-inch reverse cowl. Nothing too crazy. I don't like the really big ones. Just want something just to fit the high-rise manifold under. Yeah, and then obviously coilovers and lower the car a bit. Yeah.